Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a vintage and vintage inspired pack. This is what I would call a big pack because it's not just offcuts, it's other bits and pieces of ephemera in the pack as well. So I'll start off by showing you some of the book pages that I put in, and then I'll show you what other items I've got. Right, the first thing I've got, which is quite nice. Once again, I'm sorry this is backwards way on, but you can understand. It's Abbott and Costello. This is actually out of an annual from 1955. So it's a nice little piece. Abbott and Costello, Good Diggings. So that's a nice little cartoony piece. I've got an old-fashioned little piece of a map. This one is out of Tom Sawyer, I believe. Nice picture out of Tom Sawyer. It was a book called Brooklands, and it was also about the makers of Brooklands with aeroplanes and things. So that was from the 1950s. This is actually the original piece from then. We've got a piece from an observer's book of fern. Is this one ferns or flowers in general? Something we'll all remember is pieces from the old Ladybird books. Sleeping Beauty, I believe, on that one. Another observer's page from the Book of Trees. And another one for Wildflowers, Red Campion there. This is Observer Book of Animals or Wild Animals and Things. That's actually Lizard on there. This one was just taken from a normal book, but I thought it was a nice vintagey type pattern, so I thought that would be quite nice. We've got a page from Practical Wireless, which is actually from 1954, book from then. Still in good condition, to say the age of it. This is another Ladybird book about Jesus. Now I've got a page from an old German dictionary that I had when I was at school. This one is a lovely vintage looking picture, and this is actually from a book dated back to I think about 1940-ish, if not before. It was a present to somebody, and all the pages were falling out, but I couldn't just throw things away like this. I think that's wonderful pictures. This one is actually to do with seafaring things. It's stamps that were out at the time. This is from a book called Sea Breezes, and that was from the 1950s. We've got a piece about the famous Five with Enid Blyton's signature at the bottom. That's from the 1970s. Oh, this is just another one from the dictionary. I thought I'd put a couple of those in. This is from a 1980s book, I believe, and it's showing cable laying in the Strand in 1895. That's a nice piece. We've got another old looking map piece, and this is from Sea Breezes again, June 1957, it's saying on the top. So that's a nice piece from then. And this one is I Strike the Jolly Roger, and that's out of Treasure Island, and that's from the 1970s, a book from then. So that's the majority of the book pages. What else have we got? Let's have a look. Right, we've got a postcard here. It's actually RHS, and it's not very old. I think it's about 20 years old now, these packs, but the picture on it looks vintage, and that's what I mean by vintage inspired, so I've included that. Same with these ones. These are quite modern, but they're all about royalty through the ages. And that's information on the back, just information cards for that one. I've got, these are actually index cards that I've tea dyed to make them look vintage, and just add a little acorn on the top there. And the tea dyed, I've actually done a piece of lace, tea dyed lace, which would look quite nice on a cover or something like that of a vintage journal. And still on tea dyed, I cut out some tags, tea dyed them, strung them, had a little flower on, so they're very nice, fit in with a vintage theme. We've got some money from Monopoly, which is a set from the 1970s. I've included old stamps, so that's Queen Elizabeth stamp. I'm not quite sure what year that is, but that's 2 and 6 is, if that's how he said it, so that's a nice little stamp. And I've also put 2 more just little normal stamps in as well, Queen Elizabeth. I've got a tea card. This is to do with coastal pictures. I'm not quite sure what year this was. I think this was about the 1980s, so it's a little tea card. I've got a vintage looking button. This looks really good for a vintage back of it, for a vintage journal. I've also included, I mean, this isn't vintage as such, but a lot of people like Scrabble letters in, so I've just included a Scrabble letter. If you've got anything that relates to the letter R, it might be relevant for you. And I've also included a little wooden counter with 44 on. Now the 44 could maybe be an age, or it could be 1944. You might be doing something about war years, so I just thought I'd put that in, because that could be good as a cover piece. Same with this, it's just basically a little goldy coloured leaf. It's actually plasticky, I think, I'm not sure. Feels more like paper, but so a little leaf there. I've got a bit of braiding that looks a bit vintage. I've also got some little metal little metal leaves, sorry, which would look quite good on the cover of something. Right, what else have we got? I particularly like this one. This was out of a book about the 1930s. I think is it Robert Opie or something like that. Very, very good book. So I've cut this piece out. I mean, I'm sorry, it's backwards again, but it's about Erasmic vanishing cream, presumably to cover up spots. But I really like that, and the vintage lady there from the 1930s. And along those same lines, this was actually taken out of a different book, but it's about when businesses started up and what have you. And it's actually to do with Twinings teas. And I really like that. That's an old advert as well. I'm not quite sure what year for that, but it's all old money. So I think we're going back, no, don't know what, maybe the 20s or something on there, I'm not sure. Right, this is a little made up envelope. I've actually designed this myself and printed it out, so that's quite a nice little addition to put on. It's actually caraway on it. It was to do with herbs, so that might be quite nice. This was also a home done vintage little tag with a Victorian lady on, and some other little pieces, stamps and what have you. Oops, stamps and what have you. I've included, as well as the Monopoly money, I've included a little card from the 1970s pack, Regent Street, that one. I've included an advert that's come out of a garden magazine, and it's actually saying here, IPC Magazines 1976. So there's a bit of a vintage advert for you. This one is to do with, not sure, some sort of goods at Alexandra Dock in Hull. It's just got it printed on the top there. Not actually filled in, but that's quite a nice piece of ephemera, because I'm sure they don't have this sort of thing the same anymore. Now this one, this is actually out of Players cigarettes, and it's Players number 6 voucher. That was a really interesting piece to find. I believe that's from about the 1970s. I have a little, what could be used as a dangle. Nice little droplet there. If you added something on there to attach it, that could be a nice droplet, a dangle down the side of your journal. Right, what have we got left? Right, I've put this in, it's actually an old fashioned, you don't really see many of these anymore, but the old fashioned packet for your negatives. Nobody much produces photos like this these days, but that's from about the 1980s, so I thought I'd include that one in as well. This is made up especially, little cluster, using some darker vintage looking material, so that could go somewhere on your cover as the centrepiece. What else? Right, now these, I didn't have any old photos for this one. So what I did was I cut out some pieces from magazines and I just stuck them on a bit of tea dye paper, and I think that looks quite effective for photos. I think that looks really, really good. So that's those, old man and woman, old fashioned should I say. Right, the last piece is an original, I think this is brilliant, it's an original Easter draw ticket from 1966, I believe. I think I might have to look at the, when it says Easter Monday in 1966 on the 1st of April. Or is it the 11th? I think that might be the 11th. But there's all sorts of things that people could win. 50 players, a bag of potatoes, a table lamp, woodbines, they're insistent on them. Nylons, a pair of nylons, a pair of towels. So lots and lots of things. Prizes, very, very strange prizes. You wouldn't get cigarettes as a prize these days. But that I think is really good. And as I say, it's dated, I think it's 1966. I'm not sure. I'd have to check when the Monday was. But it's definitely in the 60s. So that's the pack for today. If you're interested in lots of bits and pieces for doing a vintage themed thing, then this is the pack for you. So my shop name will be on the screen now. So if you'd like to take a look, you're very welcome. And I'll be back next time with another, I might do a character pack next time and show you what I include in those. So I'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.